Shedeur Sanders out for now. Browns take cautious approach with rising QB star. Rookie QB sidelined by oblique strain, leaving Cleveland's QB depth chart in flux. The Cleveland Browns quarterback competition has taken an unexpected turn as rookie Shedeur Sanders suffered an oblique injury during a joint practice with the Philadelphia Eagles on Wednesday. Coach Kevin Stefanski offered an update Thursday, explaining the team's careful plan for managing Sanders' injury. He emphasized the importance of protecting the quarterback position and allowing Sanders the proper time to heal. "Yeah, Shedeur felt it early, I think warming up, and then felt it throughout individual drills. So, I took a look at it," Stefanski said. "If it's a right guard, you can play through that. When it's a quarterback, you kind of need that muscle to throw. So, unfortunately, going to put him down for a little bit here. We'll treat it day to day and see how it responds. But want to be smart because he's a thrower, you can't push that thing." Stefanski's comments underline the unique demands placed on quarterbacks. Unlike other positions, even a minor oblique strain can significantly affect throwing mechanics, timing, and overall performance. Taking this cautious approach, Sanders has been ruled out for Thursday's practice, and his availability for Saturday's preseason game against the Eagles is in doubt. Sanders' injury impact on Browns' quarterback depth. Sanders' injury adds to the Browns' quarterback woes, as fellow rookies Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett are also sidelined with hamstring injuries. "I have no clue what's going to happen," Gabriel said at a press conference on Wednesday, speaking out about his injury. "I'm just right where my feet are. But time will tell, and we'll see what happens, but that's up to the coaches, and, we got a lot of time up to that point." Likewise, Pickett revealed on Thursday that he feel like he's turning the corner a little bit this week, which is really positive. He added hopefully, "I was able to run a little bit more than yesterday. I'm getting there, taking it one day at a time." With veteran Joe Flacco being rested, the team may turn to newly signed quarterback Tyler Huntley to start the upcoming preseason game. Despite the setback, Sanders' performance in the preseason opener against the Carolina Panthers, where he threw 2 touchdowns and displayed poise under pressure, had generated optimism about his potential role in the team's offense. However, the injury raises questions about his readiness for the regular season and his standing in the quarterback competition. As the Browns navigate this challenging situation, the status of their quarterback depth chart remains uncertain. The team is expected to provide further updates on Sanders' condition and potential return to practice in the coming days. Even after his impressive debut, Sanders was listed 4th on Cleveland's quarterback depth chart heading into the week. With the injury keeping him out of practice, there is little chance that he will move up the ranking in the near term. They called it a precaution, the soft word coaches use when they want to keep a season from wobbling on a single misstep. But for Shedeur Sanders, the label landed heavier than a headline. "Out for now." The sentence settled into the locker room like a rain cloud, inevitable, temporary, and somehow both more and less than anyone expected. The Browns' decision felt like careful architecture. Not dramatic, not theatrical. It was the measured kind of choice made by people who know careers aren't built on urgency, but on timing. "We're thinking long-term," the staff told the cameras. The trainers made notes. Coaches rearranged practice reps like architects shifting scaffolding. It wasn't punishment. It was protection. Shedeur took the news the way he took most things, with work to do. He sat at the edge of the field during team drills, watching the repetition of routes and blocks the way a composer listens to an orchestra tuning. Every eye movement, every subtle shift in a defender's shoulders became a lesson. He wasn't sulking, he was studying. Being sidelined didn't silence him, it redirected him. Practicing patience became its own kind of drill. There's a peculiar intimacy to the out-for-now verdict. It requires faith from 2 parties. The team, which must trust its decision will yield dividends later, and the player, who must trust that sitting today protects a tomorrow worth playing for. That trust is fragile and practical. A handshake built from medical reports, film analysis, and conversations that happen in small rooms with fewer microphones. In the hallway outside the training room, the hum of the facility felt different. The tempo slowed. Trainers moved with careful choreography, testing ranges of motion, timing tosses, watching micro-expressions that told a truer story than any MRI. The medical team weren't dramatists. They were technicians of recovery, measuring progress in millimeters and moods. For a quarterback, those tiny margins phase into the big ones. A split-second faster release, a steadier follow-through, a head that no longer flinches when contact arrives. Social feeds, of course, had their own verdicts. Some fans cried foul, others applauded prudence. Analysts weighed roster dynamics like chess pieces, arguing trade-offs and immediate wins. But locker rooms are not built on timelines of tweets. They're built on hours of repetition, on late-night film sessions where players point out the things that matter. Leverage, pocket depth, where a defense creeps when it's tired. Those are the metrics that mattered now. Shedeur's days shifted. Mornings became homework. Film, footwork drills that could be done without a full contact harness, mental reps that sharpen timing when the body isn't yet ready to prove it. Afternoons meant meetings with the trainers, careful progressions, and the small triumphs that taste modest but compound. No pain during a simulated throw, a step that felt right, a read that found its timing even when the arm didn't have its full swing. Nights were for recovery, ice, rest, and the stubborn, quiet practice that lives outside the highlight reels. Teammates rallied in ways that said more than any headline could. A veteran lineman would sit by the tape table and talk technique. A wide receiver would linger after practice to run routes at half speed, calling out adjustments. These were not performative gestures, but the real architecture of a team. The simple acts that knit a player back to confidence. Shedeur noticed. He took each nod, each piece of advice, and folded it into the work. There was anger, too, small, quick fires that flared when he watched the reps pass by. But he learned the useful alchemy of converting that heat into craft. He threw more, not recklessly, but with intention. He used the bench as a lab, timing the tosses, refining footwork, sharpening reads until they were second nature. He practiced patience the way he practiced a pass, with repetition until the motion felt inevitable. The coaching staff communicated with care. They explained the calendar, what milestones they wanted to see, the check boxes that would flip before he returned. It was a roadmap, not a cliff. "We want him ready for what matters," the coaches said, which translated into a promise to preserve the season rather than chase a single moment. That promise soothed teammates and turned impatience into strategy.